Hey everyone! So in today's video I'm going to do an updated camera setup video because it has changed since my last video, and you did get a glimpse of this in my most recent workstation tour because I quickly showed some of the setup, but I'm going to go through specifics of the brands of every item and what it is, why I use it, that kind of thing. So let's get right into this. So I film my art videos on this section of my desk here. It's a 3-piece desk, and this is a handy spot because I can set up a tripod behind the desk and there's room to set it up, because if I filmed say on that side there's not really much room. That's how it was in my old apartment, but there was a window ledge where I had my tripod propped up on. Back then that setup worked because I had a smaller camera, which is actually the one I'm filming with right now. Hello. But I now use this bigger camera, so I have a different setup. So like I mentioned, tripod back here. This is the Benro C1980T. And it has this arm that sticks out that I can put my camera onto. And I used to not use this. This is just to counterbalance the weight of the camera. This just has a bunch of scrapbooking supplies in it. This can stand up without it, but the cats have knocked it down too many times, so I decided to finally put a weight on it so that there's no chance of this just tipping over and the camera falling. So it's much more sturdy. This is actually not positioned quite properly right now because it needs to be right up against the desk. I like for this to actually touch, because this is not fully sprawled out. This leg actually comes out further, but I have it tucked in so that this touches here and then it's nice and sturdy. So yeah, Benro C1980T with this as a counterweight to the camera. So the camera itself is a Canon 70D, and then the lens is also by Canon. It's an STM lens. It says EFS 18 to 135 millimeters. So normally what I do is I set it to autofocus, wait for it to focus on the art, and then switch back to manual. And then sometimes I'll zoom in and look at the screen. There's like little zoom controls here. I'll zoom in and just make sure it's fully focused, because I can manually focus it with this ring. So do that, and then this ring makes you zoom in and out. Zoom, focus, yes. And then the screen is angled down like this because it can fold back, it can come forward. I have it angled so that I can see it nicely from where I'm sitting to make sure everything's in frame and all that. On top of the camera, I have a Rode shotgun mic. This is not really necessary for speed paints because I don't need audio. I record the voiceover separately after the fact. But if I am doing some kind of speaking video where I'm filming down below, then I will turn this on. There's just a power button on the back. Turn it on and use that to capture the audio, and then it just plugs right into the camera. Now on the front here, this is a ring light, and I use that to light the artwork. And this is the F&V R300 ring light. So there's just a knob here, and I turn it and the light comes on. It's a really nice way to light everything from directly above, so I'm pretty glad I got this. There's actually a piece of paper in here because you can put different covers on this, and I felt like this cover was too see-through and it wasn't diffusing the light enough, so I traced it and cut out a piece of paper and stuck it in there just so it's helping diffuse the light a little bit. So to power the light, there is a power cable right here which plugs into my little power bar that I have back here. And it does take batteries, and initially I did get batteries for it, but it was kind of a pain in the butt because when you're filming, you're worrying about your camera battery dying, you're worrying about your memory card filling up, and so it was just sort of an added thing that kept interrupting my workflow. So I decided to just get a power cable for it, but I actually have an external hard drive that uses this power cable, and I tried it and it fits, so that's what I use. I didn't buy it specifically for the light, it was actually for my external hard drive, and it just happened to fit. So that's nice, because what's stupid is this light doesn't come with a power cable and it doesn't come with batteries. You have to buy something separately, so that was really annoying. And speaking of batteries and memory cards, the battery's back here for my camera, and I actually have 2 spares because you don't want to sit there and wait for the battery to charge when you're trying to film your art. So I always have 2 spares plugged in. The main one is plugged in right down there, so I can just go grab the spare battery, plop it into the camera. I also use 2 memory cards because they do fill up. I have 2 64GB memory cards, and usually I can film a video on just the 2. So one will fill up and then I'll switch to the second one, and then I'll be good to go for the rest of the video. So that's what I use. This one, I think they're just SanDisk brand. Yeah, SanDisk. Now, on the front of the ring light here, this is a webcam. This is the Logitech C920, I believe. And it's nice because it just clips on back here. So it sits like this and hooks onto the ring light. It's the perfect fit, right? And then I have this piece of tape here just to help secure it because I have knocked it down a couple times. So that's what I use in my live streams to record from above. I can record with this camera for YouTube and then be recording with the webcam for the live stream at the same time. So that's what this second cable is. One is the webcam, one is for the power cable for the ring light. There's also this webcam here which records my face during the live stream. So art cam, face cam. So this is my Surface Pro 3. I use it mainly for watching stuff while I'm working, like I might have a TV show going on. Lately I've been watching a lot of that 70s show, that kind of thing, just so I have something going in the background while I work. Or if I'm live streaming, this will be where I have my Twitch page up with the chat and everything, so I can read chat while I'm streaming. This here is a sheet of glass that I got out of a picture frame. And then underneath it is some poster board. It's sparkly, so it's pretty nice. My cats did knock over a glass of paint water, which discolored it and wrinkled it. So mostly the icky part is over here, but I might have to replace it with a new one eventually. There's also just a lot of hair under the glass, cat hair, so that needs to be cleaned. But oh well, it's kind of a nice surface and I feel like it has looked pretty good. Glass is super reflective though, so when you turn the light on, doot, doot, you get a ring right here. So usually I just make sure my art is covering the ring, and if the piece of paper is too small, I'll put a bigger piece behind it just to block that light. And then my Copics are here, easy to grab while I'm filming, as well as my charts. They're just right in front of me, so if I need to check the chart, it's right there. And some scrap paper in case I want to test some color combos. I have this mini tripod that I use for close-ups, and it's by Joby, I guess. Just a little tripod with bendable legs, and that's when you get your side close-ups like this in my videos. I'm using this little thing. In my most recent video, I actually attached it to this water bottle because I wanted a bit of a higher view, and so that worked out pretty nicely. So obviously, when I'm using this little tripod, I'm not using the DSLR with it. That just, no, that doesn't work. So what I use is my Canon G7X. Hello, I brought a mirror so I could show it to you because that's what I'm filming with right now. Let's actually set it down. This is also the camera I use for my vlogs. It's nice because it has a flip up screen. I don't really need to flip up the screen when I'm doing my art videos, but it's nice for vlogging and for certain things. If I'm doing like a sit down art video, I might just use this one if I don't feel like resetting up this tripod and everything. I just kind of use a mix. I'm sometimes using that camera, sometimes using this one. It's a mix. But yeah, I'll just attach that to this tripod, and that's how I do my close-ups. In this camera, I use a 32GB memory card just because that's what I use every day for my vlogs. So I'll just record my close-ups on that card since it's already in there. And then for the batteries, I have one spare battery, but that's enough because by the time I've drained the next battery, the first one's already fully charged. So I have one spare that is right here, easy for me to grab behind here with all the mess. Woohoo. This is where I plug in the cable for my light box. It's always just sitting here. It's not always plugged in, but if it's not plugged in, it's in here where I can easily grab it for filming. And the light box itself is under here. It's supposed to be right here, but sometimes I throw it onto that box or just on the floor. But this is where it's supposed to be. And then I also have papers ready to grab right here. This is turning into a workstation tour, but I mean like for filming wise, if I need to brush off dust, this is right here. If I need a ruler, it's right here. Basically just trying to keep stuff handy so that I can sit here and just grab what I need when I need it. This lamp here, I do use it when I'm just doing stuff at my desk, but I actually don't use it to light my art videos anymore because I used to have those big lights that would sit on the side of my desk. If you've seen my previous camera setup, I still have those, but they're set up in my toy filming room, so I just don't have them on the desk anymore. I just use the ring light, and I make sure this light is turned off because it's very yellow and it's not centered over the camera. It's a little bit to the side, so it creates this yellow light coming from this side and it doesn't look good. I just want white light. So when I'm filming, that stays off. This gets turned on, and I make sure this is also off because it'll create a light coming in from the side. Just a random little filming tip. If your lighting is not quite bright enough and your footage doesn't look bright enough, try adjusting the ISO on your camera if there is a setting. Like on the DSLR, if I push this and then use this slider, it adjusts how bright or dark the screen is. So from like really bright to kind of darker, that kind of thing. So you can increase the ISO if you want to brighten it up a bit. Just don't increase it too much because it does decrease the quality of the footage. The little G7X also has that quality setting, so I can arrow down and it lets less light in, and then if I'm arrowing up, it gets brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. So I don't know if most point and shoots have that feature, but if yours does, it's definitely worth checking out and seeing if it helps with your footage. I just want to point out that if you're new to filming videos, you're probably not going to have a setup like this. I've been gradually upgrading my setup over the years, and I have other camera setup videos that I'll actually link below. You can see the progression. I've gone through several digital cameras and I've been slowly upgrading over time, and now I feel like I'm at a place where I feel like there's not that much room for improvement in terms of equipment. Maybe the way I use my equipment could be improved, but I feel like, you know, the equipment is nice enough. I can film what I need to film, but don't get discouraged. Don't look at this and say, oh my God, I need those expensive cameras and everything in order to film art videos. You don't. You can start with more basic stuff, and I'll link my more simplistic setups below. Well, my previous one wasn't necessarily more simplistic, but you know, less expensive equipment. So I'll link the old ones down below. But yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. It's just gonna fall behind the couch. They're gonna knock it down. Anyway, we have to go get some groceries because we're making those scalloped potatoes, and there's just a few other things that I need to pick up that we're running out of. So we're gonna head to Superstore and come back. Did you almost miss them?